friends, today we're going to read part 2 of Ralph's Decision. What was Ralph to do? He was still turning over this problem in his mind when the clock above him ground and groaned and managed to bring out 8 bongs. Right on schedule, Ryan came into the lobby, warmly dressed to go to the mysterious place known as school. He was carrying his books and lunch in a backpack. Ralph admired his waffle stompers. Waffle stompers are boots. The muddy floor caught Ryan's attention. He studied the mud, and when Matt left to fetch a mop, he got down on the floor in front of the clock and pressed his cheek against the floor so he could speak to Ralph. "I saw your tire tracks," he whispered. "I bet you had a great time last night." "Yeah, except for a bunch of little mice," said Ralph. "What's the matter?" Ryan asked. "You sound unhappy." Suddenly, Ralph knew what he had to do. He thought fast, which was easy for him. Mice often have to think fast to survive. "Look, Ryan," he said, "I'm in trouble and I don't have time to tell you about it. Just take me and my motorcycle with you and don't ask questions." "To school?" Ryan was surprised. "Come on," begged Ralph. "We're friends, aren't we?" "Sure we're friends," agreed Ryan, "but—" "There's no time for buts," said Ralph, who knew Ryan would have to catch the bus soon. "Well, okay, if you say so," said Ryan. By the time okay had passed Ryan's lips, Ralph was wheeling out his motorcycle with his crash helmet dangling from the handlebars. "I'll stay out of sight," he assured his friend. "There must be some place I can live at school." Ryan stuffed the motorcycle into one pocket of his parka and picked Ralph up carefully so he wouldn't smash his tiny ribs. "You mean you want to stay at school?" "Yes," said Ralph, suddenly frightened by his decision. "There must be some place I can hide." Ryan thought a moment. "Well, there's one of Melissa Hopper's boots. You could hide there." "Doesn't she wear her boots?" asked Ralph, picturing himself squashed in the toe of a boot by the foot of Melissa, whoever she was. "Not if she can help it," said Ryan. "Melissa hates boots, so she leaves them at school. That way her mother can't make her wear them." "Sensible girl," thought Ralph. Mrs. Bramble came bustling back into the lobby. "Ryan, what on earth are you doing on your knees? You should be on your way out to the highway or you'll miss your bus." "Just checking the floor for dust," fibbed Ryan as he quickly slid Ralph into his parka pocket. "Bye, Mom," and he ran out the door and went crunching through the snow to the highway. Ryan must have had second thoughts about taking Ralph to school. He said, "I guess Miss Kay won't mind." "Who's Miss Kay?" asked Ralph. "My teacher," explained Ryan. "Her real name is Miss Kuchenbacker, but she told us just to call her Miss Kay because calling her Miss Kuchenbacker would take up too much classroom time." "Oh," said Ralph, mystified. To Ralph, school was a strange and mysterious place. When he had been a very young mouse, Ralph had pictured school as something like a bus, because mothers and fathers who arrived at the hotel with several children after a long hot drive across the valley, or the long winding ride over the Sierra Nevada, often said, "I'll be so glad when school starts." Ralph had naturally concluded that because a school started, it must also move like a car. As Ralph had grown more sophisticated from listening to children, he came to understand that children moved. School stood still. Later on, he learned that some grown-ups, called teachers, also went to school. Some of these teachers stayed in the hotel during the summer. As far as Ralph could see, teachers behaved like ordinary people, except that, unlike parents, they said, "Oh dear, school will be starting soon." Ralph found a clue as to what teachers did in the mysterious place from a television commercial, shown several times a day. In it, a woman who said she was a teacher held a tube of toothpaste in her hand as she walked around saying, "Toothpaste doesn't excite me. Good checkups excite me." This remark puzzled Ralph. However, when he had lived upstairs, he had once tasted toothpaste when a careless guest left the cap off a tube. He found himself foaming and frothing at the mouth as he skittered around frantically, trying to find water, while one of the maids ran down the hall shrieking, "Mad Mouse! Mad Mouse!" No, Ralph could not agree with that television teacher. Toothpaste was exciting. Okay, we'll stop there and we'll do part 3 tomorrow.